All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this because President Trump just absolutely went the freak off. And like I said, he already said that President Trump calls to terminate the filibuster to pass voter ID, election reform, and more. Not only that, he told all Republican senators to their face, which he held a meeting with all the Republican senators, pretty much telling them, hey, y'all must terminate the filibuster, because if you don't, when the Democrats get in office, if they ever get in office, they already said that's what they're going to do. So President Trump is moving really, really fast. And of course, you've seen last night that New York City just pretty much decided to elect a communist. Like, this guy set up, I can't believe a lot of people fell for this, especially like a lot of New Yorkers. A lot of people really believe that this guy, Zohran Mamdani, is going to get them free stuff. I mean, that was like, I showed y'all clips yesterday of people just saying, oh, I elected Zohran Mamdani because we're going to get free stuff. Like, what? Ain't nothing in this world free. You going to get free stuff? Like free bus rides and all? Like, no, that's not going to happen. And then we got even more, President Trump is speaking on the government shutdown and stuff like that. And of course, Mike Johnson comes out and say some more things. So we definitely about to dive straight into it. So please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to everybody who always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you that do that. So please let me know in the comment section under this video that you did stay to the end and you did hit that like button. I try my best to keep y'all up to date with everything that's going on, and I'm trying to make sure that I keep President Trump's message out there, so y'all can help me out by watching the entire video and hitting that like button. And like I said, please let me know down below in the comment section that you did stay to the end and hit that like button. Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and dive straight into this. So, if you see by Nick Sorter right here, it's that breaking President Trump back calls to terminate the filibuster to pass voter ID, election reform, and more. If we don't do it, Democrats will when they retake power. They've already tried, but Joe Manchin blocked them. Get it done. And that's what he sent to Adelina Thune, because like I said, he already know what the Democrats are going to do. They already said that's what they're going to do. If they ever regain power, that's what they're going to do. And you see by President Trump, he's pretty much saying pass voter reform, vote ID, no mail-in ballots, save our Supreme Court from packing, no two-state audition, etc., terminate the filibuster. So this right here is where President Trump pretty much just gave the Senate Republican a dire warning. Like, y'all got to listen to me on this, because this is going to cost us if you don't listen to me. So you see, breaking, President Trump just told every Republican senator to their faces they must end the filibuster or nothing will be passed for 3+ years. Check it out.
It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3¼ We have 3¼ years, so that's a long time. But when they can't do an extension, and John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. This is the first time they haven't done an extension. Extensions are supposed to be easy, but if they won't do an extension, they won't do any bill, even a simple bill. And we should do our own bills. We should get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with the country's open. Congratulations. Then we should pass voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass, make our elections secure and safe, because California is a disaster. Many of the states are disasters. But can you imagine when they vote almost unanimously against voter ID? All we want is voter ID. You go to a grocery store, you have to give ID. You go to a gas station, you give ID. But for voting, they want no voter ID. That's only for one reason, because they cheat. We would pass that in 15 minutes. If you don't get it, you'll never pass that. You'll never talk about mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots make it automatically corrupt. If you have mail-in ballots, automatically it's correct. Even Jimmy Carter, they had the Carter Commission after he got out of office, and he had a group of very distinguished people, Democrats and Republicans, and they passed, they recommended things take place. It was a long time ago. And they said about mail-in ballots, if there is mail-in ballots, there will definitely be corruption because, they pass through too many hands.
And President Trump is exactly right. Now, if you see right here after President Trump said that, because he said they're going to try to get it done as soon as possible, but he's urging the Republican senators to do this. And then you can see right here, say, great news by Senator Tommy Tuberville is ready to nuke the filibusters. He's with Trump. Let's check out what he said.
Okay, if we need to bust it, let's bust it. Let's knock it down to 51 and let the Senate know that, listen, the power needs to go to the president and let him get something done. If we don't, we're going to lose our country. It's going to be over with. And so he's got 3 years. He's the last Trump that we'll have in office. He's hard-nosed. He believes in this country. Let's give him some support. If he wants to blow up the filibuster, I'm all for it.
So, and you can see right here, Senator Tommy Tuberville said he's all for it. Let's just hope the rest of the Republican senators is on board as well about this. But if you see like this clown right here, Chuck Schumer, I guess, you know, a lot of them, they celebrating from last night because old communist Zohran Mamdani won, which was a big, big mistake. A big mistake for New Yorkers. I mean, listen to this guy. This guy's a liar. He just lied to get elected. And people really believe that this guy is going to give them free stuff. But look at Chuck Schumer right here. So Senator Chuck Schumer say he doesn't care about the majority of America. He only cares about coastal elites. That's what he's saying by calling last night elections in Democrat states representative of all America. Schumer has learned nothing.
Shellacking for the Republicans and for Donald Trump, as loudly and clearly as could possibly done from one end of the country to the other. The American people said enough is enough. The American people said enough with Republicans' relentless attacks on health care. And they also said...
And see, this is the reason why he's doing. He's sitting up here lying. So we figured out, which we knew for the longest, they shut the government down because they want this communist Zohran Mamdani to win. Now that the election is over, we'll get to exactly what they're trying to do now. But check out this man still lying.
Said enough with the cruelty, the corruption, the chaos that define MAGA radicalism. When they see that Trump doesn't want to help them with health care or paying for food for needy people, but sending $20 billion to Argentina and saying his most important thing he can do is tear down the wall in the White House. So last night was a really good night for Democrats and our fight to lower costs, improve health care, and reach a better future for our country. The American people have spoken. It's about time.
They always say the American people have spoken. Like this. I mean, man, this is just horrible, man. This is just horrible. So all of a sudden, just look at this. Now that the election is over, oh, look what Chuck Schumer and that dollar store Barack Obama, Hakeem Jeffries want to do now. So say breaking in a suspicious move. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries demand, not asking, they demand an immediate meeting with President Trump and congressional GOP leaders to finally end the government shutdown. You know why? Because now that the election over, they got what they wanted. They said, let's shut the government down. Let's try to, and they used that to try to make the American people be mad at President Trump to make it seem like President Trump is the one that did this, but yet they the one did it. Now that it's over with, they ready to start. They ready to start back talking about it. I mean, it still ain't gonna get nowhere, especially if they still asking for $1.5 trillion and free healthcare for illegal aliens. I mean, they ain't gonna get nowhere with that. So now they trying to demand. The election is over, so now they're getting moving. Isn't that perfect? They're forming the off-ramp. This is Chuck's fault. He has wreaked havoc nationwide, and the only way to open the government is with the clean CR. No funds for illegals, no fund for NPR or PBS, nothing. So now you see Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, so now they ready to talk. I mean, just absolutely insane. Look at this. Congressional of the United States House of Representatives, which you see November 5th, which is today, say, we right to demand a bipartisan meeting of legislative leaders to end the GOP shutdown. They keep on saying the GOP shutdown when they the one who shut it down. They the one who shut it down. In the GOP shutdown of the federal government decisively address the Republican healthcare crisis. Democrats stand ready to meet with you face-to-face anytime and any place. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I mean, just absolutely insane. absolutely insane, man. My God. And you can see right here, it say, breaking in a promising development, Senator John Cornyn expresses he's open to nuking the filibuster. So, hey, that's another senator. So that's two of them, but is the rest of them going to get on board? So he said he's open to nuking the filibuster for certain situations, such as appropriation bills, huge and government shutdowns per punch bowl. 51 votes, not 60. And President Trump don't need to talk to Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer because they trying to get backroom deals, y'all. They trying to get backroom deals, and that's exactly what they trying to do. They trying to get $1.5 trillion, and that's why President Trump said, hey, man, I'm not talking to them. Let's just nuke the filibuster. So we don't even need their votes to reopen the government. So 51 votes, not 60, huge coming from Cornyn. Get it done. GOP, show us you have a spine. So, and like I said, this is exactly what President Trump was talking about. And you see right here, say breaking, President Trump reportedly got tough with Senate Republicans behind closed door this morning, saying the GOP will become a dead party if they don't nuke the filibuster. Senator Lindsey Graham reportedly told Trump that budget reconciliation can be used to pass good legislation, to which Trump said, you and I both know that there is so much you can't do with reconciliation per punch bowl. Donald J. Trump is also concerned the shutdown has negatively impacted Republicans more than it has Democrats. And that's what Chuck Schumer and them is trying to do. That's why they did this shutdown, so they can blame all of this shutdown and people not getting, like I said, SNAP and stuff like that. They blamed it on Republicans. And you got a lot of American people did believe that it was President Trump's fault. You got you got people, who think that President Trump was the one that shut it down. And he didn't. But there was Democrat ways of lying to try to win the election, and that's what they did. So now that the election is over and they elected a communist, now they ready to negotiate again because they got what they wanted. And said negatively impacted Republicans more than it has Democrats, and that it reflected in stronger Dem turnout in the election, and that's exactly what happened. Said, listen to Trump, GOP. He would not steer you wrong. 51 votes for all bills will work wonders. Now, President Trump did drop a message right here that I definitely want y'all to hear. It said this is a message Democrats don't want their base to hear because it's true. Check out what President Trump had to say about these Democrats.
Day by day, we're making America affordable again. It's going to be affordable again at a really record pace. And, other people are going to take credit. All the mayors and all the governors, they're going to say what a great job. They didn't do a damn thing. Yet as we speak, the Democrats in Congress are trying to put all of this progress at risk and drag us back to the Biden policies of soaring prices, crushing energy costs, massive spending, open borders. Let the world come into our country from prisons and from mental institutions. Let them pour in. And rampant inflation. That's what Biden gave us, all of those things. With the reckless Democrat shutdown, virtually every Democrat in Congress has voted to hold the American people hostage in an effort to extort hundreds of billions of dollars in new spending. They're demanding free health care for illegal aliens that just came into our country from prisons and from mental institutions and drug dealers and drug addicts. And they want to give them $1.5 trillion in giveaways that would turbocharge rapid inflation again, as they did the first time. You remember that just a couple of years ago, 4 disastrous years we just had. They were the worst years. Meanwhile, the radical left Democrats are causing millions of Americans who depend on food stamps to go without benefits. They're forcing federal workers to go without paychecks, and they're stranding thousands of travelers at the airports. And you understand it, and they understand it. All because they want to return to the failed Biden policies that created, and also Obama policies. I watched him the other day up talking, well, Donald Trump is a mean person. I'm not a mean person. I just want to have a country that's great again. Is that okay? I'm not a mean person. He's a mean person. He's a divider. He's a divider. Obama, Barack Hussein Obama. And by the way, ask him how he's doing on his museum library. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars of cost overruns. It's come to a dead halt. He built it in not a particularly good location. He's not into real estate, He doesn't know about location. He doesn't know about location. But he built it in a location that's not going to be too good. But the thing has come to a dead halt. It's way over budget. It's sort of like Gavin Newsom in California. He's got a train that was supposed to go from San Francisco to Los Angeles, which is a stupid idea because an airplane is faster. I don't care how fast it goes. And they had plenty of airplanes. San Francisco, inside San Francisco to inside right there, LA. And what they did is they said, oh man, this has been going on for years. It's billions and billions of dollars over budget. So what they decided to do is cut it so that it doesn't go into San Francisco and into LA. It goes way short of both. And then they cut it again and again and again. Pretty soon they're going to have like 2 miles of track. Billions and billions of dollars. Totally incompetent. The biggest cost overrun.
Salute to President Trump, man. Going off on Barack Hussein Obama. So it just, like I said before, it's just absolutely insane, like, you know, like with what's going on and stuff like that. Because like I said, at the end of the day, these people, they just don't want to listen. They really just don't want to listen, and it is what it is. So if you get right here, you can see where you got Speaker Johnson, you know, pretty much speaking out, you know, on all this. The Democrats are flailing their national leader now, Zohran Mamdani. So like I said, they got what they wanted, because this is exactly what they wanted.
And it will be even more favorable once all the redistricting stuff is settled out. We have Democrats who are flailing. They have no leader. Their national leader now, as we've noted, is Mamdani. He's a communist. Good luck with that.
Yep.
Republican side,
and this is exactly what he is. Now you can see right here, Tommy Emmer, you know, speaking on this as well.
Mainstream. We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about. That is a direct quote from Kami Mamdani.
Kami
and
Mamdani.
It should terrify every single freedom-loving American. This is the land of insanity Chuck Schumer and company have enabled with their party's political games, and now they must own the consequences.
And not only that, Steve Scalise is pretty much responding to the resident who was flee socialism in New York City now that they elected a communist.
Socialism is they can just leave like they've been doing for years. They can move to states like Florida, to Texas. They can even come to Louisiana. But if they ruin America, if they're able to take hold with socialism in America, where else are people going to go? There is no plan B to this great United States of America, and we're not going to let socialism take over.
And that's exactly right, man. You just can't.
Socialism, 7 out of 7 swing states rejected that form of socialism that has now taken over the Democrat Party. What President Trump and House Republicans ran on was delivering results for American families. We said we would secure the border, and we actually delivered on that in record time. We said we would prevent a tax increase on anybody. Every American, no matter what income level you were at, you were facing a tax increase, in many cases a 30% or larger tax increase. We said we wouldn't do it. The Democrats bragged that they were going to raise your taxes. And the American people decided that, not New York City. The American people a year ago decided they didn't want a tax increase, and we followed through on that by preventing the largest tax increase on American families.
Exactly.
Also by delivering no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. For seniors, 85% of whom will not have to pay taxes on their Social Security income when you factor in the deduction. We delivered on that. Every Democrat, by the way, voted no because Democrats don't want hardworking Americans to keep more of their money.
And that's the thing. Steve Scalise, he didn't stop right there because, like I said, people start believing Zohran Mamdani about these free buses, government-run grocery stores and stuff like this. And check out what Steve Scalise said about this.
Anybody wait to see what those free buses are going to look like? I'm sure they're going to be incredibly safe and clean when you ride the free buses. Can anybody wait to see what those government-run grocery stores are going to look like? Shelves unstocked, expired food.
Yep.
I'm sure the friendliness of those employees that are government employees at those grocery stores. That's what socialism does. Socialism always overpromises and underdelivers.
Exactly. So that's the reason why, like I said, it's just, man, New Yorkers, y'all, you stay in New York, man, you is in trouble. I can tell you that right now. You is in trouble. Not only that, Byron Donalds absolutely went off on Zohran Mamdani, especially when you up here talking about giving people free stuff. Byron Donalds was not having it.
When you put in communist and, yes, communist policies, that's what Zohran Mamdani is talking about.
He's not a communist.
It never
Democratic
works.
Socialist. He says he's a Democratic
I can't tell what the difference is.
Well, he can describe
Explain what the difference is.
He can describe the differences for you. The socialism is not the same basis of communism in this country. You know that quite
The
well.
man
You
wants,
have an
the man
economic
wants to
background.
the man wants to create government-run grocery stores. He wants free transportation, both of which are impossible to do. Because
You know that
how is
communism
he?
is a trigger word to try to undermine all of his policies. He's not a. He says he doesn't.
I don't need to undermine his policies. His policies undermine himself.
Well,
because they've
say
never
that.
worked. Here's all I want him to do. Tell me where they've ever worked. They've never worked. He knows that. I knows that. But what he's trying to do is promise everybody something that they can't have. And the truth is there is no free lunch, just like there's no free bus. Because you know what happens when you have a free bus? There's nobody there to fix it or to drive it. He knows that. I know that. You know that. America does know it. And it's unfortunate that the city of New York, my former home city, is probably going to have to go through this.
Mr. President, your beloved New York City. Your beloved New York City may well be led by a communist soon, Zohran Mamdani, who in his nomination speech said he will defy ICE and will not allow ICE to arrest criminal aliens in New York City. Your message to communist Zohran Mamdani.
Well, then we'll have to arrest him. Look, we don't need a communist in this country, but if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We send him money. We send him all the things that he needs to run a government. And by the way, they get about 3 times what you get, Ron. If you look at the per capita, Florida gets 1/3 of what New York gets in terms of the numbers. Why don't you give us those numbers?
Yeah, well,
because that's what we should send him.
Yeah, well, like sometimes people say Florida gets more because they count Social Security recipients, but that's not money to the state. Those are seniors that live here. If they moved to North Carolina, you could count it there. So it has no interaction with the state government. They get more on the city and state governments than we get.
Right, substantially. We're going to be watching that very carefully, and a lot of people are saying he's here illegally. We're going to look at everything, and ideally. He's going to turn out to be much less than a communist. But right now, he's a communist. That's not a socialist. I've always said, we will not have socialism in this country. In the speeches, I said, well, what? They skipped socialism. And you get a lot of them like that.
And so, as you see what Byron Donalds said as well, because like I said, he was not having it. Now, listen right here to Mike Johnson. That Mike Johnson has a message for all America after Marxists won in New York City.
Many of whom represent districts with much less blue than New York City, have embraced him with open arms. And because his brand of Marxism is truly a bellwether for the Democrats nationwide, we pointed out that other major metropolitan areas in the country are facing the same threat with candidates similar to Mamdani. And we're going to continue to call out their effort to mainstream and normalize socialism and Marxism in America.
Yep.
Working families watching this play out have a right to know that socialism and communism are not just confined to New York City. They are quickly coming to a town near you unless you stand up and let your voice of common sense be heard.
Exactly. So if I seen this clip right here by Benny a little while ago where, Zohran Mamdani pretty much thanked Mexicans and Ethiopians and stuff like that. But not one time did he thank Americans. Not one time. Check it out.
Thank you to those so often forgotten by the politics of our city who made this movement their own. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties. To every New Yorker in Kensington and Midwood and Hunts Point.
And that one time, where did he say Americans? Not one time did he say anything about America. He thinking everybody else except Americans. That's what I'm saying, man. New York City is doomed. And you can see right here, like, hours after, Mamdani won, you say breaking it. New York City Jewish Fire Commissioner Robert Tucker resigns hours after Zohran Mamdani's election. A lot more where that came from. You asked for it because obviously we know what this man done, said about Jews and stuff like that, and people know. So like stuff like this is just freaking insane, man. Just freaking insane. Now, another one that I wanted to show y'all exactly what John Fetterman has said. Right here, said, holy crap, Senator John Fetterman just called out his own party for freaking out about Trump wanting to nuke the filibuster. He said, we all wanted to eliminate the entire filibuster. It was just a couple years about that. So, I mean, they have a thing called the internet. You could just look up and confirm. We all wanted to wreck the filibuster. He said per Fox. Wow, devastating. So, I mean, obviously I had to throw that in. I almost forgot about what John Fetterman said. But, man, y'all let me know in the comment section, what do y'all think about all of this? So now New York, man, y'all stuck with a communist now. The man that promised y'all all this free stuff that you're never going to get. He's just saying what sounded good to get your vote. And obviously for him, it worked. So now President Trump said, hey, they're going to nuke the filibuster, for this government shutdown, because obviously you see Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, now they trying to move quickly before, President Trump, he already told the GOP senator to nuke the filibuster, so he don't need no Hakeem Jeffries, none of them. So now they trying to hurry up and rush since the communists then got voted in. So like I said, I will keep y'all up to date as more information comes out. Thank you all for watching, especially the ones that made it to the end. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.